Hi there, welcome to my channel Get Tired. I'm your host Manik Sanaik. As always, I'll be sharing with you few career insight to help you guide through your career aspirations. Now today we're going to look at one of the most interesting questions, and this is the first question most likely will be asked. Tell me about yourself. Now at the outset, this is like a very generic question, which it is. And interviewers usually use this question to break the ice, just to put the candidate at ease. Now, from a candidate's point of view, this is a very important question, and this is most likely will be the only question that would be asked of you, which is somewhat generic, not directly related to your job role. Well, at the surface, you need to turn that into your advantage. How do you go about doing that? Now, this is one of the most important questions to the candidate, is because this is the question you are going to lay the foundation. This is the launch pad question. They say that first impression counts. This is the moment. Now here it's all about sharing your values. You need to share your values and make sure that is aligned with the interviewer. So here it's all about selling your personality. No doubt you have to share your competencies and give a brief account of all what you have done, but more importantly is all about creating that vibe that you are in tune with the interview's frequency. So here you need to plant seeds of positivity, seeds of connectivity, and seeds of likability. Right? So this is a very important question, because once you set the tone, you will be viewed as a positive or a negative person. If you get it right, and if the interviewer sees as a positive person and the positive vibes are created, there's a message that goes at subconscious level to interviewer's brain that he has all the competencies, his vibes are good, he's energetic, he knows what he's talking about, his competencies seems to match in every single job that he has had, and he's passionate. So when that kind of message goes, every single question that follows after this question, tell me about yourself, he will look at you as from a positive frame of mind. So very important that this is the launching pad. So get this question right, practice really hard. So there are a couple of things you need to look into. Number two is basically you need to make sure that it's not about what you want to share, it's about what they want to hear. So all the information that you hear or what you have, you need to make sure that is aligned with the values of the interviewer. What I meant by that is sometimes a lot of people get this wrong because they focus just on two aspects, which is fair enough, because the conventional wisdom or the conventional training program suggests that you have to only match two items. One is the job role match and the culture match. Job role match is the competencies. Culture match is the ability to fall in line with the company or the company values. But they forget that, because another third level of match is the most important. That is the match with the interviewer. Maybe the first interviewer, second interviewer, or even the boss or the final interview. Whoever in front of you, you need to match with his values. Now this particular question, tell me about yourself, is at that moment. This is the moment for you to align with values with the interviewer. So you don't want the interviewer to be intimidated. No, you don't want him to bring out his insecurities, inferiorities. And this can happen because we are just human. We are just governed by emotions, gut feeling. Not everything is based on logic or reason. So here, you need to really do what is called assess the interviewer before you come to the interview through a process called profiling the interviewer. This will reduces the biases. Now, let me give an example. If you go to an interview and if you have been asked this question, tell me about yourself. So you go on talking about some qualification you got from overseas, some university. And if the interviewer is from a local university which he has gone through some hardships, he might feel a little bit of resentment, a little bit of intimidation. Well, where you get the degree from, that also to a great extent can match. And even the schools, sometimes one person can be from a elite school and other person can be from outstation school. There can be certain elements that nothing to do with the JD, but it acts in the final decision to see you as a potential candidate or not. That's just through my experience I'm telling you. So you need to make sure that you understand, you manage his state by play around with your qualification experience, so that he's comfortable, he doesn't feel intimidated, right? So this is the moment. It's all about having your facts and make sure that it is scripted, edited, so that it is in tune to the frequency of the interviewer. It's a very important fact. This is because their beliefs, values, view of the world are all different. So mostly the professional, really professional, high tier recruitment agents or hiring managers will not have that, or if they have it, they conceal it. But I would say 80-90% of the hiring managers, subject to that kind of biasness, just because we are humans. So you have to really manage that. This is very important. I can't stress you this enough. Make sure that you are aligned with his values, because usually we like to hire mini versions ourselves. So you got to make sure that you are on board, that positive vibes are being created with this question. Number 2 is the duration. For this question, I would say maximum you should prepare an answer for about 1 minute, but need to have an elevator pitch where 30 seconds you should be able to, pack everything up, your experiences, your qualifications, and mostly how passionate you are and about your values within 30 seconds. Because sometimes they might abruptly end the question and ask a follow-up question. So that way you need to make sure by that time you have actually given all the right ingredients for him to view you positively. So have elevator pitch. And of course you can follow up by saying halfway, if you stop, you can always say, is that enough? Can I elaborate? And if you have more information, you can elaborate. So duration, stick to that. Another important thing is basically you need to show that you are a skill match as well, in terms of abilities, skills, competencies. Now, this is not the time to really go into detail, but if you have worked in several organizations, you need to show that across all organizations that you have been passionate about the industry that you have selected. If it is a marketer, accountant, or a customer service, or a engineer, or whatever, and that you have a clear career trajectory that is progressive. But even if it is not progressive, you have taken days off, time off, or there are gaps in your resume, or you have done voluntary work, or even settled for lesser designation, that's fine. As long as you show that your passion continues and you have continuously learned and made progression in terms of new skills, acquired new skills, you need to show that as well. That need to come out really strong so that your passion remains intact, irrespective of the industries and designations you have held. Another important element is that here you got to be very mindful when you answer this question, tell me about yourself. It depends on who is in front of you. What I mean by that is the level of the organization or the level of sophistication of the organization. Now, if it is a lower tier as well as less sophisticated or a state organization, you can really connect with the employee by hiring manager by saying, talking about your school, your family, what your father did, your village, your way of life. Those are like very subjective, nothing to do with the job description or the role. That are those good triggers for you to emotionally hook with that kind of mindset. But as you move in, go up the food chain or go up the more sophistication ladder, high-end companies don't want to waste time. They are not really interested in where you come from, what your father did, what your religion, or NIC number, all that. They are really interested whether you have the match in terms of the culture fit, in terms of the competencies. So there, in an organization like that, if this question is thrown at you, you need to really focus on your competency skills when you're talking and answering for this question, instead of your family background and pedigree and where you came from. So make sure that you understand, have a background. So that's why you say can't have one single narrative or a script for this. You need to have different script, because if you mix it up, it will automatic disconnection with the interviewer. Someone who is very laid back and a lower tier organization who wants to talk about the village and how we grew up, all that. If you talk about, if you talk about complexities and skill set and extreme versions of what you have done, that would be a mismatch and won't be able to understand either. So you need to really understand it. So number 4 is basically everything, keep it very macro level. This is not the time to go to numbers, quantification, no. Keep it very general. The name of the game is to connect, make sure that you create value. Last but not least is the energy level. You need to make sure that the enthusiasm is maintained. No one wants to hire a passive reactive, emanating negative vibes, very laid back, not optimistic, pessimistic kind of mindset, they don't want to hire, no matter how much experience you have, unless of course the role that you advertise is extremely specialist, like an astrophysicist or a medical profession or an extreme accountant or a code developer or a specialist role where they will not really give too much significance to how the energy levels. But mostly I would say 80-90% of jobs, they need to make sure that your energy level that you bring so much energy and vibrance, and that you're excited for the role. So these are the things that you need to probably consider for this definite question that you're going to get. Use it as a foundation, as a launching pad. So you set the tone, make sure that it is positive, and rest will follow, and rest will just, as I said, just fill in the blanks. Right, so if you like this video, please share with your friends. Subscribe to my channel, Get Hired, by touching on the subscribe button. Thank you for watching. See you soon.